All right, we're live. It's me again, Doug, just chilling out. And we've got a special guest with us now. We've got Mr. Color himself here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mr. Color. No. Here on Twitter, I go by Cal Jameson, and coloring is my third thing that I do. I'm a writer and a letterer, but I love to color too. So that's how I got hooked up with these guys.
Yeah, the stuff that you've colored and sent me so far, man, is absolutely killer. I'm digging it.
Thanks.
Uh, so far, we're 9% funded. We have six backers. So we're that I think it's pretty good for just a few hours on a
Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah, not bad.
I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to our six backers.
Woohoo!
We've got now. Forgive me if you watch this later and I murder your name. I apologize. We've got Risto Jarvinen. We've got Garrick Phelps, Jesse Miller, Jeremy Lott, Samuel I. Olkey, and Joey Turnage. We really appreciate you guys backing this. It
Yeah,
means a lot.
recognize a few of those names.
Yeah, a lot of them are regulars in some of the groups that I'm in. Uh,
Yeah,
really cool guys that love comic books.
yeah. At least one of them is like at one of the $100 plus tiers. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Garrick Phelps actually bought the cover. He bought the cover of the book, which I thought
Oh,
was,
nice.
yeah, it was really cool.
That's great. We're off to a good start, man. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go good. I put out a request for a signal boost from some of the big Comicsgate people. None of them have responded yet, but we'll see.
I'm sure they get tons and tons of DMs and stuff all the time and messages directed at them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but so far did you see my stream earlier when I was showing off the gun?
Oh yeah, I caught the gun just real briefly before I had to turn it off.
That's one of my favorite things I've been showing off.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Where'd you get that?
Uh, Actually, a local pawn shop had it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of a gun nut in a way. I like to shoot. Um, but just real quick, Lone Wolf is the story of a 200-year-old Cherokee warrior. He fights supernatural evils, and so far you've seen the artwork. He's fighting some ghouls. We're going to have vampires. We're going to have werewolves. We're going to have a little bit of everything. Uh, he's going to take place throughout different eras in history. It starts out in the 1800s, and it's currently, I mean, there's going to be two story arcs going on. One set in modern time, and one set, in the 1800s. So
Oh, cool.
you never know where it's going to go. I've got tons of ideas, and hopefully we can get this off the ground.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I'm glad to know you're gonna delve into his past as well as his present in the book. That's great.
Yeah, the origin's kind of going to be spread out over, like, if we can make several books, we'll have little pieces of it here and there, like something will remind him and he'll flash back,
Yeah,
you know. So that way you don't get the origin all at once, and he's a little bit mysterious, and you can kind of, build it up.
yeah. Well, I'm digging the concept, man. So how long have you been a comic fan?
Man, I've loved comics since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't read a lot when I was like in first, second grade, and my parents wanted me to read more because I didn't really read at school. I didn't do anything, and I remember one. It was right after my youngest brother was born, and we come home, and all I can remember is him screaming to the top of his lungs. And mom and dad had bought me an Amazing Spider-Man comic book,
Yeah.
and that pretty much kick-started my love of comic books. I,
Awesome.
I read that. I've read that book so many times it's fallen apart.
So that was a superhero comic, obviously. At some point, your like kind of at least either changed or at least adjusted to add horror into the mix, right? Or supernatural
Yeah,
stuff.
you know, I like zombie movies and things like that. And
Yeah.
um, one thing you see it a little bit, you don't see a lot. You don't really see a whole lot of the Western style action with the horror element, and I think it's really cool to
Yeah.
combine the two. Of you know, I like superheroes, but I don't know how I would write a superhero.
Right.
This just seems more natural. In a I lost my train of thought here. But like I'm a big fan of the TV show Supernatural.
Oh yeah, me too. Just watching
And
that actually.
yeah, and that kind of influenced it some, that and superhero comics like the Phantom and Wolverine, just elements of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was
it's
actually before I got in the car to join this, I was watching Supernatural and coloring page 5
that's awesome.
of Lone Wolf. Yeah, I watch Supernatural whenever I'm coloring or anything where I can actually watch something while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, Supernatural is a show that's just absolutely killer, and I like how they kind of changed the origins of like vampires and all that stuff,
Oh yeah.
and
So
everything's not. Go ahead.
my picture is going to go away for just a second. I'm going to keep talking to you, but I'm going to put some air in the tire while we're chatting.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
So keep on talking, man.
One thing I wanted to do is change up like the rules about zombies and ghouls and vampires. I don't want the same old thing. I want it to be the creatures and stuff that you recognize, but I want them to be a little bit different. Uh, like with vampires, I think at some point we're going to have vampires in the book, and maybe they come out during the day. Maybe maybe they've always come out during the day. It's not going to be one of this. They die in the sunlight and stuff. Maybe they'll be a little bit more normalized, but still be that supernatural evil that you want
Yeah.
to see.
Awesome, man. Well, it sounds like we're birds of a feather, definitely. Almost everything I write is supernatural in some way. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Supernatural, the show as well, X-Files, and not so much Buffy anymore, but I used to be a big fan of the Joss Whedon stuff.
Yeah.
But that stuff kind of got pushed aside by better things like Supernatural without that corny Joss Whedon humor,
Yeah.
Oh crap! I put way too much air in this thing. Better let some out. I put this donut tire on this morning, and it was at 40 psi. It should be at 60, and apparently they don't take very long to fill up. It's up at like 70 now. Better let some out.
Yeah, man. Car troubles are a bummer.
Oh my gosh, seriously. But anyway, that's not good radio, so I won't talk about that anymore.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say. So are you still trying to get Jeff on at some point? Is he just not keen on being on video or what?
I'm not really sure. He wants to do it at some point, so hopefully we can pull him in sometime soon.
Yeah.
I had a really good time talking with David this morning. I think it was kind of a funny contrast. You've got like a really polite English gentleman, and then you have me, the hillbilly.
I know, it was really cool. I dug it.
It was completely opposite spectrums, but like I was telling him, it's really awesome the way our little team has kind of fell together.
Yeah.
We all kind of dig the same things, and like I really didn't try that hard to find people. I just kind of threw it out there, and everything just kind of fell in place.
Yeah, I'd like to hear. I want to hear how you got hooked up with Jeff and with what David is his name.
Yeah.
Well, So yeah, let's hear those if you don't mind telling.
No. Well, what's funny is I started posting on Twitter. I like I said this morning, Nasser. I got interested in Nasser doing his own book, and he was talking about it all the time. So I sent him I left a comment on his YouTube, and I was like, "Hey, man, how did you find the artist, and how do you go about doing all this?" And he's like, "Just get on Twitter." He goes, "Get on Twitter and throw some ideas out there," and you know. So I was like, "Okay," and I had made a YouTube video talking about my idea for a comic book, and I shared it on Twitter, and Jeff commented on my video. And
Oh,
come to find out, Jeff and me probably just live like an hour and a half apart.
oh, that's awesome.
We're both Tennessee guys that live way out in the middle of nowhere with a similar ancestry. It just it's like it just kind of fell into place. He sent me a
Yeah.
message and was like, "Hey, I like your idea. I think I'd want to work with you." And I was like, "Okay, man." So we started talking, and that just kind of fell into place. And with David, I was looking for somebody to do the letters on the book, and I'm a member of the Diversity in Comics group on Facebook. And I just threw out a post and said, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody to do letters on my book." And like almost immediately, he shot me a message and was like, "Hey, I
Huh.
could do them." You know, I was like, "Okay." So I sent him the script, and he started doing some letters. And he's actually pretty much assistant editor on the book as well. We go over dialogue and we change things, and he's been a really big help.
Awesome. Well, if his voice is
You're cutting out on me a little bit. Looks like we may have lost you. Well, anyway, while he's gone, we will go ahead and pull up the Indiegogo page and see how that's doing. Let's see, I will screen share, let you all check it out. Okay, here we go.
all right. Sorry about that. Did you hear my conversation with my wife or
No, I didn't hear anything. You just kind
Oh,
of dropped out.
yeah, the phone call came through and my wife was calling. I thought she was here and she wasn't here. So anyway, keep going with whatever you're doing, man.
That's all right. Uh, we are now up to seven backers on our book. We just had an anonymous person. They
Oh,
backed
nice.
us. Yeah. I believe they bought. Let's see. I believe they just bought the comic book, the physical version, which is awesome. We appreciate everything, Mister
Yeah.
Anonymous, whoever you are. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. We
But
just need
that's
about what 37 more of him. So
yeah.
300. I'm bad at math, but
I'm not that. My math is not my strong suit, so I've had to calculate things several times to make sure I'm not going to lose a lot of money.
oh, 370 more of him. That's not that bad.
No, it's really not. And I was
No, it's
thinking,
30 days. No, go ahead.
this really low buying point, man, is
Yeah,
going to help a lot. I
yeah.
know
I'm gonna do that on my stuff too. Yeah.
it's hard to pay that $25, just for a book every time, but so
I'll tell you what. If other people are like me, they're they're gonna really love that $5 buy-in because I just can't afford. I haven't been able to back any of the big guys because
yeah,
their books are so expensive, and it's ironic because they're selling so many of them. They actually could probably lower the price a lot, but at this point, I can't afford. I'd love to get Red Rooster, but I can't afford it. I can't clear it with my wife. I
yeah.
just don't have the finances. So, but man, $5, I'll back every single $5 book I see, no doubt.
And what I love about being able to do it is if we can hit $8,000, everybody who pitched in will get the 60-page, trade paperback for
Wow.
$5. It's fantastic. I just wish more people would try to do something like that.
Yeah. It seems too good to be true to me. But I'm trusting you got the math right, man. That sounds awesome, man. That would be so great for all the backers.
Yeah, well, see, if you figure up by that point, you're going to have a lot of books. It's going to be a pretty good chunk of books. So they kind of give you a pretty good discount when you order. This place does print on demand, so if you're printing 500 books, they'll cut you a big discount.
Oh, that's awesome. You and I are going to have to rap behind the scenes about this stuff because I've got projects coming up too. Like, I don't know if you saw that I posted earlier for my Shinobi Sasquatch.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. That is killer.
That concept art starting, and then I'm talking to an artist about one of my other things right now. But long story short, I'm going to need to rap with you to get all the info on that stuff because I'm completely lost.
Well, that I would love to, and anybody else that's out there, if you want some help, just shoot somebody a message. Follow me on Twitter. Shoot me a message. We need to get more of these books out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited for Lone Wolf. I mean, well, I guess you shared how you met or how you got David and Jeff on board. So I'll share how you guys got me on board. But just whenever a project pops up that's horror or that's supernatural, I'm all over it, man. Because I'm not really into superhero comics. I stopped buying them a couple years ago when Snyder was doing, I think, his second or third Batman arc. Batman was the only superhero comic I was buying, and even that is arguably not really superhero because Batman's more of a it's kind of a darker book. So yeah, when I saw Lone Wolf pop up, I was like, oh man, that looks awesome, and also very similar to stuff I have going on. So I thought, man, either I can be like, these guys are competition, or I can be like, no, I'm gonna be a fan because this is stuff I like,
Exactly.
And so I asked you, hey man, can I color a few of your pages just for fun? And of course, you being the nice guy you are, you sent them over, and then you guys liked them. So that's if there is anyone listening, I don't know.
We've got a couple people. We've got a couple people watching.
Okay, that's how I got signed up for the becoming a human stretch goal. I love it.
Man, one thing I like about as soon as you sent me the colors, it made me instantly think of Batman: The Long Halloween, which is one of my favorite trade paperbacks.
Yeah, me
and
too.
It made me think of Hellboy.
Yeah,
I loved it. It made like. I think if anybody else would have colored it any other way, I wouldn't have liked it. But it totally just made the art just pop. It looks fantastic.
I'm telling you what, man. When I started learning to color, it was just to help my artist friend out. My best friend's an artist, and I just saw how much time it was taking him. And I looked at Hellboy, and I thought, man, I could do that. All you have to do is have a nice palette. If the line art is good and your palette is interesting and attractive, you don't even need to render. You don't need to do anything but just add color to the already great line art. And Jeff's line art is fantastic. I mean, it's you guys are saying the colors look so good, but that's really just because the line art's good. That's all it is. If it was crappy art, you guys would be like, man, those colors are terrible. But that's all it is, man.
The thing is, you knew exactly how to compliment his art, and that's what made it good to me. And I'll go ahead and screen share real quick, and I will share a couple of those pictures. My computer will not be insane. Let's see. I'm starting to get better at this stuff. All right, can you see that?
Oh yeah, I can see that. Oh, good. It's the updated one too with my pictures in the background.
Yeah, I love the updated one with the sky. Man, it is awesome looking.
I won't give away how that's done because then everyone's going to want to become a colorist when they realize how easy it is.
Yeah, don't tell anybody your secrets. You might lose out on the job. And here is page 4, which I love.
Yeah, that's a good page.
It's so cool. I was kind of torn at first. Me and David were talking about should we add the gun sound there, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, and we went back and forth on it, and we just kind of decided to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
Just
good. I like it.
just kind of a throwback to the old school stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think the original version had it kind of more of an orange color, and I thought, no way, I'm just gonna make it muzzle the same color as the muzzle flash, and that just immediately ties it to the gun. You know,
Yeah.
it's just little things like that. There's all these like tiny little tricks in coloring that I've been learning along the way. Like on that page, for instance, like I took the panel, took the layer with all the ghouls, and I reduced the opacity of it, so they kind of blend into the background a little bit more because Lone Wolf is the focal point of that image. So yeah, and maybe on these streams I can do a little bit more of my, like if anyone's interested in how to color very simply, I could probably share a few tips here and there.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. I'd like to get Jeff on and get him to do a little bit of drawing for us.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome if we could do that and then get you to show off some coloring. But we have Jeff's actually in the chat.
Jeff,
Hey,
what's up?
What's up, Jeff? And we have Sep. I can't hardly read. I need glasses, but I don't. It looks like it says September, November 7 of 9, something like that. But he's a good dude. He's in the groups I'm in, and he's actually in the Stardust book. He's in
really?
the second. Yeah, he's in the second story. He's the dude who got that perk. He said he just backed us, and thank you very much. We appreciate it.
I'm waiting to get my Stardust.
I got it yesterday, and I was thrilled, man.
Really?
I'm using the same printer that Nasser is, and just the quality of the covers and the paper just completely thrilled me.
What's the name of that printer?
Let's see. It's like Greco printing. You can search them. Comics Wellspring.
Right. Yeah, I've looked into them.
Yeah, their prices aren't bad once you buy in volume. They're actually printing the ash can as well, which I approved the proofs for that yesterday. So probably about
how many pages is that one?
That's just the first 6 pages of the book.
Okay, cool.
And I've only made 25 of them.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I made 30, but 5 of them are going to people who actually worked on the book.
Cool.
So, yeah, I wanted to kind of give them to everybody that worked on the book. And I'm getting all kind of notifications on my computer now. Sorry, they're distracting me.
That's cool. Hopefully it's Twitter, people sharing the posts and stuff.
Yeah, this little Comics Gate community, man, is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've had a lot of people like sharing and sending me messages and talking about the book and stuff. It excites me, and gives me that drive to continue and get this thing done.
Yeah, that drive is going to be important when you get a little further in, especially for Jeff. Because the script is, I don't know, have you finished the full script already?
I've got the 22 pages done.
Oh, okay.
I've got the rest of the story lined out, but I haven't sat down and wrote the script.
So when my artist friend and I first started trying to break in a few years ago, we did an ash can, and we went to a local convention and we gave them out to people, and we got nothing. No people. It's hard to even give things out to people. People don't want free stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But someone found an author found us on Twitter, went to our website, and then asked us if we would do the graphic novel version of his novel, which sounds really cool, but there was no upfront pay or anything, and he was kind of a nobody at the time. And so we actually spent like a year working on this graphic novel adaptation, and the guy ended up getting really big, and then supposedly his agent's going to try and shop it next year. But the moral of this story is, once I got about 2/3 of the way through that script, I was like, you know what, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore. And I know with the art even more, it's like it can really become a trudge to try and get through something, you know, within a certain window. You know, if you have all the time in the world, fine. But you guys set a ship date for this already, right?
We're shooting for the 1st of January. I kind of want to be the first comic of 2019. The first.
Oh, that
comic
would be
strip.
so cool. Happy New Year. Here's your copy
Yeah.
of Lone Wolf.
So
Of course, adding pages will make that harder, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well, the first stretch goal is 32 pages. I didn't want to jump all the way into 48 at one time.
Right. Yeah, that's smart. So would you say I haven't read the script yet. Would you say that 22 pages people are going to get to the like it gets them far enough in the story where they're like, okay, I feel satisfied where this stopped, but I really want to jump into the next one?
Yeah, I mean, it's the 22 pages is like you're just getting your feet wet.
Yeah, it's hard to do much in 22 pages.
You're going to be like, man, this is cool, but you're going to be
Yeah.
left. The story is the first part of the story is going to end, but it's definitely going to end where you're like, man, what's next?
Awesome.
I wanted it to end where the main arc isn't resolved, so there's plenty of room to keep going.
Cool. That's awesome. We'll have to share writer tips back and forth one of these days.
Yeah, I'm a songwriter, so I'm coming at this from a completely different angle. I've been a musician for like 20 years.
Oh, cool. Yeah, me too. I don't write many songs, but I'm a musician. That's what I do for my regular job.
That's awesome. I just do it for fun. You was talking about giving away stuff. The group I'm with now,
yeah,
we went and played this open mic night at this big venue the next town over, which is like almost an hour away. And we had our demo with us, and we had stickers and everything, and we could not give those away. We walked around trying to give them away, and everybody would be like, "Oh, I love you guys. This music, you guys sound so good." But it's like, okay, it's like, well, here's the CD. No thanks.
What is up with that, man? It's so weird.
I don't know.
Okay, so give me one sec. Hi, Emma.
Tell Dada what happened today.
There's my family.
Hi. What happened today? Did you get to 7 today?
Okay, everybody, my daughter got to 7 today.
That's awesome.
Whatever that means. That means she had a good day in school. Sometimes she melts down, so she had a good day today.
Well, that's good.
So you guys follow me. Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you guys as I drive. So you won't see my face for a little bit. I'm just going to put this phone down. But I want to stay on the stream because I'm digging this.
Yeah, this is cool. Me and David had a good stream this morning. He's a really interesting guy to talk to. And I feel like you are as well, so that's good. We've got interesting people working on this one book.
Yeah, I love listening to David, man. That accent it's just. I mean, both of you guys actually, because I just sound like a freaking California guy. So, oh man, I'm like way out in the middle of the street. There we go.
I don't know if you've ever heard the other stream that I get on a lot. I'm on with some guys, and it's called the Needle Mover Society. And on there, I exaggerate my accent sometimes. I like to be the crazy Southern guy. I try to dial it down a little bit on my own YouTube channel.
Well, it sounds pretty darn Southern to me, but I'm, like I said, I just sound like a California dude. So
David was saying that almost all American accents sound the same to him. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, I thought that was really weird.
Because that makes sense. It's because to us, like, like more of an erudite, like professory, like his accent seems a little more proper to me, but you also have like the Cockney, but and even though they're different to us, they all sound British.
Yeah.
We just call them British accent or English accent. We don't bother with narrowing it down. It'd be cool to have David. Is David going to be able to come back on at some point?
I don't know if he can today because when we were talking this morning, it was already afternoon there.
Oh, right.
But we might be able to get him on here after a while. Tonight around 7 my time, which I don't know what time. I think
That's 5 here.
Okay. I'm gonna be on with the Needle Movers guys. So if you want to come on there with us, you're more than welcome.
Okay, cool.
Those guys they're a little crazy. We've got a Canadian and an Alabama guy, and I don't know if did you see the book Blue Mamba?
Yeah, I saw that.
Jim Healis, he's on with us a lot, which he won't be on tonight because he's in New York, but he's on with us a lot, and he's a really cool guy.
Oh, cool.
And Lewis, that's doing that Damned Nation of the West, he's on it a lot.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so maybe those guys will be on there. I just got a question in the chat, and it says, Lone Wolf, is that book about Cherokee warrior and stuff? Yes, it is.
That's the one.
The book is called Lone Wolf, but the character's name is Wolf, and he is a Cherokee. He's he's half Cherokee, but that's part of the book. I don't want to give too much away. It actually is influenced some by some of my family ancestry.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Well, can you tell us the other half? Is it something that would be predictable, or?
It's predictable.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because back in the 1800s, there were white people and Native Americans, so
right.
I based it on some historical events that happened to a group of Cherokee here in Tennessee. But it's loosely based on that. I just put it in that world and kind of took some ideas from that history. This pretty much, it's a supernatural story, so there's not going to be any real world events in it.
Okay.
Like, you're not going to open the book and there's not going to be a page of Trump in there.
Right. So we could turn this into a gaming video. No, I'm just kidding. So do you play games at all? Like, are you excited for Red Dead 2 coming out?
Oh yeah, Red Dead 2. I am super excited for that. I didn't realize it until we started talking, and earlier I mentioned like the West and supernatural things. But remember the expansion for the original Red Dead, the Undead Nightmare?
I'll never forget that, man. It's not only is it one of the best expansions ever, that expansion is one of the best standalone games ever. It's so good.
It was amazing. I had forgot about that until we started talking earlier. Somebody should make a hack for that game and put my character in it.
Oh, it'd be so cool. You'd fit right in.
Yeah, it would fit. But yeah,
and he was alive in 1899 too, so that would have been perfect.
Yeah. But Red Dead 2, dude, I think that's going to be the best game ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm buying it from myself, and my son is 19. I'm buying it for both of us.
Awesome.
Hopefully we can play online. Oh man, what system do you play on?
I play on the Xbox One.
Oh man, they better put cross-play in because we got to form a posse.
I think that PlayStation has slowly become more open to the cross system.
Yeah, I saw the other day that they did. They finally gave for the first time, and it was for Fortnite, I think.
Yeah.
Which I do not play, but that's good. I mean, that shows you that at least they're willing to break if the game is big, and Red Dead's going to be the biggest thing ever. So.
Yeah, I really hope they allow the cross play on that. I actually do play Fortnite. I play it with my nephews a lot.
Oh yeah, is it fun?
It's fun. It's a little goofy, but it's fun. Especially like I like playing with them when they're young. They're like 12 and 10. So it's a fun game. It's not too ultra violent that we can play together.
Right. So now we can spin it back towards Lone Wolf. Now you mentioned you want to keep it PG-13 so that the kids can read it if they want, right?
Yeah, if the parents want to look at it and they think it's acceptable for their children, I want to
Yeah.
keep it. I don't want a lot of bad language, and I don't want it to be overly violent. I want some. You've seen the page. I want to see
Yeah.
some zombies and ghouls getting blowed up and stuff, but I don't want
Right.
anything over the top. I don't want no naked men or anything like that.
Oh, like that Batman comic.
Yeah. The what was it? Somebody called the Batawang. I don't want to see that.
I only wish I had bought that just because I know it's going to be worth money since they're not reprinting it.
Yeah, it'd have been a good idea to buy it and just put it on eBay.
I think it's already worth like $60.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
Well, they've got Bat Dong in it. No, thank you.
It makes me think of the meme of Richard Meyer where it says, "No, that was a bad idea."
Oh yeah.
Just put that there. That was a bad idea.
He did a review of that, and he said that when they show it, it makes sense for the story because it's something about Bruce Wayne's vulnerability or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
There's no excuse.
Don't hijack my John Constantine to narrate a story that's terrible, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Because Constantine, man, he's influenced. I mean, that character influenced. Like they modeled Castiel in Supernatural to look like John Constantine.
I could see that.
Yeah, that was actually the writers said that was their purpose for his look. Is they wanted Castiel to look like John Constantine.
That's
so
awesome.
He has the exact same coat and everything. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a cool melding of two things that I like, I guess.
Yeah, I was a big Swamp Thing fan. I like the Alan Moore run where Constantine comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never be Alan Moore. I mean, I'm an okay writer, I think. But that story, man, that's a big influence on the kind of stuff I want to do. I like the philosophy and everything in it,
Mhm. Yeah, that Moore run of Swamp Thing was just. I mean, everyone cites it because it was so groundbreaking. Like he took a character that's like honestly, it's just kind of a corny character.
Yeah.
And in a superhero universe, and he created this fantastic horror series out of it that hasn't, in my opinion, nothing has really come close to being as good. Well, at least not super close to being as good as that, as far as the horror comic series goes. I just remember sitting there with my friend's stack of Swamp Things, and not being able to stop reading it. So freaking good.
Yeah, I think.
Did you check out? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I just want to ask, did you check out the New 52 Swamp Thing a few years back?
No, at that point I kind of got burnt out on comic books at that point and kind of quit.
Oh yeah, I'd say try it out, man. It ties in with the Animal Man at the time. Also, the New 52 Animal Man, and they're both actually really, really good. I don't know if those creators now are some of the guys that are calling us names for no reason, or not, but I definitely recommend those first like few arcs of the New 52 Swamp Thing and Animal Man. The Swamp Thing definitely kind of reminded me of the Moore run, kind of a new version of it, I guess, because they still went, pretty dark with it.
No, I'll definitely check it out. See, at that time, I was my favorite superhero pretty much, and is Batman. And like you were saying, to me, if you read Batman, it's not so much a superhero book. I don't really care about reading Batman if it's Batman and Superman or Batman and the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I just like straight up Batman.
Right.
And at that point, I had a subscription to every Batman book that came out. and then they completely ignored all of that. And that, well, remember when they introduced Batman Incorporated?
Oh no, I
That
must
was
not have been reading at the time.
right before the New 52 run. It was so stupid. It was like Bruce Wayne went around the world and set up these different Batman things so that there would be a Batman everywhere in the world.
Oh, okay.
It was really dumb. But they ran a couple issues of that and then completely ignored everything that happened and restarted with the New 52. And I was like, I'm done. And I just kind of quit reading for a long time. At that point, I was buying only like back issues and stuff that I liked when I was a kid.
So, and that was right before. Okay, yeah. So I actually wasn't even collecting comics at the time when that New 52 came out. That was one of the reasons that got me back into it. Is that they kind of reboot on the whole universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I won't go back and check that out then.
Well, see, they had a storyline right there before they changed everything, and it was called Batman Rest in Peace. And Batman was missing, and everybody was trying to fill in and be Batman. And Dick Grayson had took up the mantle of Batman. And it's Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne, and that run on Batman is fantastic.
Okay.
Because you've got Dick being Batman, and he's not Batman at all. He's completely different, and people notice. They're like, you're not Batman.
Okay.
But he's trying really hard to be Batman, and he's trying really hard not to beat the crap out of Damian Wayne. And it was just like all of a sudden they brought Batman back and just ruined everything, and then rebooted the universe.
So I read a I don't know if you read this, but there's a graphic novel. It was written by Scott Snyder and illustrated by Jock, and it was Dick Grayson as Batman also. So that might have been during that same run. I don't know.
It probably was. I liked it pretty well. One comic that actually is a huge influence on me and kind of is a huge influence on the whole style of a Lone Wolf is the 90s Ghost Rider comics. When it was Danny Ketch. Have you ever read any of those?
No.
Okay.
Dude, I'm sorry. Hold on. I gotta go. Look at this is my donut tire.
Oh, that's terrible. Yes.
So I gotta roll. I have to call AAA, but I'll try and hop on if you stream again a little bit later. Okay.
Oh, it's all good, man. Thanks for talking to me. I've had a blast.
Yeah, for sure. Let's definitely do it again.
Yeah, we got to. Well, hey, you get home safe, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, later.
See you. All right, guys. Well, we've had a pretty good little discussion here. I believe I'll check in on the Indiegogo real quick, and we'll see what it's doing. And see. Still loading up. We have 9 backers now. We are 10% funded. Let's go over those backers real quick and give them a shout out and a thank you. All right. We have C. Halloway. We have Timothy S. Barnes. We have Anonymous, Risto Jarvinen, Garrick Phelps, Jesse Miller, Jeremy Lott, Samuel I. Olkey, and Joey Turnage. Guys, we appreciate this so much. You don't even know how much it means to us. This is amazing. I'm very thankful for everybody supporting the book. I'm thankful for everybody that shares our post. Just keep sharing it. The more people you can bring in and get the $5 buy-in, the better we can make the book. $5, you get enough people in, and we can have a full color 48-page book. We can stretch that to a 60-page trade paperback, for $5. So we appreciate you guys. I'm going to sign out. I'll be on with the Needle Movers Society tonight. Come check that out. Hope y'all have a great day. And thank you for sitting with me and watching me be goofy, being a goofy hillbilly on the YouTubes. See you.